Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Woo!
Dungeons
Dungeons and
and
Dragons!
Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons and Dungeons.
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry /
Hi,
Vertigo,
I am the Dragon Master. Not really.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn,
I am the walrus.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Jenny Meltzer
Bless you.
as Zaleen,
I am Death incarnate.
and Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends.
So, when we last left our heroes, the Pocket Protectors, they had been traveling deep, deep, deep underground, traveling through the roots of the World Tree Emerald Arboris in search of an artifact which they understand to be in approximately the same place as someone called the Siphoner Queen. The Siphoners being a strange new varietal of life that draws magical power out of other creatures in the world around them. They are currently draining the world tree, which seems bad. They seem bad in general. Also, they have the thing you need. You were on your way through a dragon guardian's domain, and it turned out that that dragon had in fact been corrupted by the Siphoners, but in its attempt to drain you of your power so that it might have the strength necessary to resist the Siphoner Queen, you eventually persuaded it that any power that it would wield in that way would be tainted and only of use to the Siphoner Queen. And so it warned you away from traveling that route that you had hoped to travel because it would only lead to your own corruption. But now you must travel another path. It's a bit longer of a journey, but you still have your guide, Melody of the Winds, and so you still are bound for what you now understand to be the Siphoner Queen. Did I get everything?
Sounds good to me.
So, I think as we pick up with the Pocket Protectors, you have left behind the dragon's lair. You're traveling further away from that region, and so the life and nature of this cavern and root system has, left behind the strange, taint that had infested the dragon's domain, and so is now more of the typical underground flora and fauna and vibe that you would expect. You are occasionally traveling through hollowed out tree-like things, sometimes just through caverns that travel alongside roots, but generally speaking, underground, dark. And you have emerged into a region where there is now quite a bit of fungus and moss and other sorts of subterranean, plant life and so on. Seems relatively peaceful. Melody, your guide, is continuing to guide you, but does not take a high insight score to see that she is pretty rattled by everything that happened to the dragon who had been her friend.
I think we should set up camp.
She nods. Yeah, you're right. We certainly wouldn't make it all the way there today in any case, and this is a peaceful enough spot.
I can take first watch if you want.
Well, I was gonna say, do we want to ensure a little extra safety with the tower?
Well, yeah. I mean, we can use the tower.
Okay.
So, as is often the case, the issue with the tower is that if you are all inside, certainly you are protected from things outside. But are you leaving the tower just sitting on the ground?
Um, I will look around and see if there's like a space where I can sort of like tuck it away because we're not going to make it full size.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to shrink down and go in.
Okay.
So I will see if I can find a way to like maybe tuck it away and cover it with some moss or something so it looks like it belongs there.
Okay. So I, go ahead and make a survival check for.
All right, I'm good at those. I hope. We'll see. 27.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, you have managed to find a place where the the little tower itself, for those not remembering, or if it's just been a while, you have what appears to be a model tower. It is in fact, I think we said 1/12 scale, and it would be 30 feet tall if it was, full size, but now it's not. And you bring it out, and all of you are able to disguise its presence, and then vanish magically into the interior where you are apparently within the full size tower. And I think Buster has made a mess because you've left him in there by himself quite a long
Aw.
time. Your gray render companion. I think your habit has generally been to have him. I mean, if you wanted to be able to bring him out fast, he kind of has to be full size.
Yeah.
So I think unless you left him small, he would have been full size, and I think he's made quite a mess of the that first floor sort of reading room.
Wasn't he was out with us before we went down to meet with the dragon?
Yeah.
Like on the stairs he was out.
Yeah, but it's been a minute. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm not saying
especially
you
if we
have
were
to
just
Yeah.
especially if we were just walking along for hours and hours,
Mhm.
then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to do anything except that he's made a mess because you left him alone in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that Nedry would be mad because all those books just keep getting eaten and like we replace them and Buster just keeps eating them.
I move most of the important books either into my bag or on an upper floor.
Yeah.
So, what is the sleeping arrangement? This is something you've had this tower for a while, but we haven't really kind of talked about the specific logistics of it in a minute. Because, of course, I could pull up the maps, but it's not like it has separate bedrooms with 4 beds and anything like that. It has the one bedroom with basically like a queen size bed.
Yeah, Carolina and I we always use that one.
Mm-hmm.
We share
Mhm.
it. I know that for a while Zinhorn was sleeping like in the library with Buster
Yeah, that's
because
right.
Buster had made like a little nest
Mhm.
out of like ripped up books.
And
Yeah.
Nedry always falls asleep on his books, so
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. Where's Melody supposed to go?
assuming she's got some kind of bedroll or something.
I mean, she does.
She
There's room
could
in the
sleep
lobby.
in the laboratory upstairs.
Yeah.
Like if she wants some privacy, she could shrink down and sleep in like a little drawer in the dresser. It's up to her.
on one of
Could
the
be a cute
bookshelves.
little
That's
kitty.
got to be an interesting story. Like, what does she think walking into this place and like us explaining is like, oh, well, if you go all the way up the stairs, you'll come out here and be tiny. Like,
Well, she's certainly already aware that you are all very powerful, and experienced adventurers who have access to a great many magical wonders. And so, although this is certainly impressive, I think she's kind of just taking it at face value. Um, she, does consider it a marvel. She's not like no selling it, but I just mean she's not confused. She is just like, you know, seems like a remarkable device that you've got.
I'll like run up the top stairs and come out the bottom all tiny and be like, "Hi."
Make a persuasion check.
Maybe persuasion. I don't think I'm good at those. 18.
18's not bad. You get a chuckle out of her, even though she's kind of seemed pretty muted. But yeah, she smiles and she says, "Yeah, so I'm fine. I'll sleep wherever you want to put me. I'm not picky."
Do you want to be like with people, or do you want to kind of have some privacy?
Well, this is your place. I don't want to intrude if you have your usual spots. Just, put me anywhere. That's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna drag her through the portal, shrink her down, and put her in a drawer.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna do that. That'd be so terrible. She would be so upset about it.
Yeah, I think she seems a little bit like she's kind of just, well, like, yeah, so she's not reacting to a whole lot right now. So you could try to delve deeper into that if you like, but yeah, she's kind of just sort of taking everything at face value, and whatever you say. And
I think you could. Do you mind if she sleeps with us, like in our room? I think it'd be a nice like girls' night. We could,
be a sleepover.
braid
It'll be
each
fun.
other's. Yeah, we could braid each other's cat ears, whatever.
oh, okay. I mean, whatever you think.
Zindler digs out a small bag of marshmallows from his pack, hands it to her, goes and lays down on top of Buster.
Where did you get marshmallows?
He has snacks and
Okay.
candy that he buys all over the
I
place.
imagine that he's been using those to like train Buster, like with a little clicker that he's
All right. Well, sure enough. So, I mean, I think that you have food and such. So, I mean, if you feel like you've certainly had a long day already. If you think you would all just kind of settle in, for a long rest, you can do that.
Yep.
Transcribing spells as always.
Okay. So, as far as that transcribing spells, do you want to be, doing any rolls to like sacrifice sleep for that, or are you just assuming that?
No, just kind of the gradual way. There's too much at stake for him to risk being tired at this point.
Sure. Okay. So I think, are you, now that with the tower hidden and everything, are you setting watches?
I mean, we can't really tell if there's anything going on outside. So unless somebody wants to go outside to keep watch, I think we might be safe here. I don't know.
I don't have the protection spells I normally would have for this prepared.
I mean, we can take turns, but you'll have to go outside. Otherwise, we won't know what's going on. We would just be awake for no reason.
Stay by the door so you can signal, because there's no way to otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll take first watch.
Okay. So you're going outside?
Yeah,
All right.
I mean,
I'm
I
going
offered to take
outside.
first watch, but
I didn't hear
okay.
you.
Okay.
I thought you were sleeping with Buster.
No, I need 8 hours uninterrupted, so I'm either first or last.
Oh, okay.
I mean, traditionally, taking a watch in the middle doesn't break the long rest. You still need a total of 8.
Oh, okay.
It
I
only
didn't
breaks it if
realize
you
that.
yeah, it only breaks it if you do anything that's like strenuous activity like a combat or something.
Oh,
Yeah, like if we got into a fight, then we would have to stay in
Yeah.
rest
oh,
mode longer after.
That is how it has always been.
I sit corrected.
All right. So who's taking first watch?
I'm already out there.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use. I think before I go out there, I'm gonna unattune from my headband and put my shadow skin on, and I'm gonna actually like shadow myself so that I'm unseen
Okay.
near where we have the tower set up,
All right. Um,
close to the door.
that takes probably an hour to do that, right?
Yeah.
Are you
Mhm.
doing that inside or outside?
I'll do it inside, like
Okay.
before, like while we're talking about this,
Okay.
like who's gonna take watch and who's on first or
So
whatever.
so nobody's on watch for that hour.
For like an hour, yeah.
Okay. So I think as you head out there, and you are using your shadow skin in that way, go ahead and make a stealth check with
Like an
advantage, I guess. Yeah,
advantage.
sure.
Okay. 19.
All right, great. Let me. As you are on watch, you have picked a spot where, as I mentioned, there's some gentle light here and there. Everything's still pretty dim, but there's some classic underdark glowing fungus here and there. Um, I think somewhere in the distance you're hearing water, perhaps from some underground stream, but you're not sure exactly where it is. You just sort of hear the burbling sound, you know, coming through from a tunnel somewhere. And it seems pretty peaceful. As you are hidden, go ahead and make a perception check.
Just regular, normal roll, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 30, 20.
Okay. Um, so I think as you are sitting there hidden in this way, you do start to first feel a very sort of vague sense of being watched. And then here and there, you're hearing little, just sort of like scuttling sounds, like something has, bumped a rock and made it sort of like skitter across the floor a little bit. And you're hearing that sort of quiet but occasional, then maybe a little bit more. Are you doing anything?
Do I see anything with my superior dark vision?
No, you haven't. You haven't spotted anything yet, but you've certainly heard something moving around. I guess in a general sense that there's something in the general area, but you haven't seen anything nearby.
I will stay put and just kind of keep my eye out and keep listening.
All right.
And if it starts to feel like it's within like 15 or 20 feet,
Mm-hmm.
then I will probably go for the door and be like, hey, something's going on.
Okay. Well, so I think as you stay put, it's kind of the same for a little while. You know, you just sort of hear this occasional, little bit of, scuttling and scuffing sounds, but you still haven't seen anything, and it's almost starting to feel a little bit strange because, like, it seems like the sounds are closer, but you're still not aware of, like, what would be making these stones move around. But then, while you remain hidden in this way, you spot a small, sort of maybe around softball sized irregular stone covered in moss stands up on two little legs and opens two little eyes, and then it kind of like trundles about 6 feet across the cavern floor, and then hops onto a pile of other little stones, and they all kind of like tumble around each other for a little bit.
I will just keep watching them because this is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
see what they do, like if they come any closer or if they look like they're plotting something.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like they're just kind of playing almost like little
Uh,
kids?
yeah. So it's you don't see any kind of an obvious like game that you can comprehend, but you do realize that the sounds you have been hearing are not something else moving the stones around, but these stones just periodically, you know, deciding wherever they are isn't where they want to be and moving around. And sometimes they're kind of bumping around with the other little moss covered rocks, and sometimes they're uh, carrying, you see one carrying a little mushroom from one place to another for reasons that are unclear. But they do seem to be interacting with each other in sort of a calm, you know, uh, peaceful, friendly way. Like,
Like they're just living their lives.
yeah, you know,
Have they like noticed me at all? Have I noticed them looking at
you're
me or
pretty sure they are completely unaware of you at this time.
okay.
Um, if you like, you can make a religion or arcana check.
Yeah, no. 10.
10. 10 is enough at least to know that these are nature spirits here of this part of the and the fact that they're here and sort of like active in this way suggests at least that you don't think anything like the siphoners have come this way, or at least to this part of the tunnels.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Like if they
Um,
looked corrupted or anything.
no, they don't. They look just kind of like they're just doing their thing. You know, they definitely seem like they're probably wild spirits in the sense that they aren't used to really interacting with mortal creatures in any meaningful way. So they probably don't have any kind of a language. But they're just kind of doing their thing. I think you get a general sense that yeah, like I said, they don't seem to realize you're there.
Okay. I will not disturb them
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to like interrupt their routine, but I will just sort of like stay quiet and
Mm-hmm.
keep aware and kind of keep my eye on them watching them.
As you do, they do at some point. One of them manages to sort of waddle itself over to where you've got the tower hidden, and it starts peering at it and is kind of like turning back and forth, and it's clearly looking at where you've hidden the tower. And then it kind of waves little little arms around, and some of the others come, and they're all just kind of like looking at it, like they're like gathering around it. And then gradually you watch as they start picking up smaller little stones and pebbles and start just piling them on top of the tower. Like they're just like making like a little cairn of stones around it.
Like they're helping me hide it. Who knows? I'll just watch them
Mm-hmm.
because like, if it comes down to it,
Yep.
I can just make the tower bigger if I have to, but I'm gonna let them do their thing.
It
Looks like they're
does
having
look like
fun.
what they're doing is going to relatively shortly, like block the door, but blocking the door with just like rocks that you could hold in your hand. So it's not like you couldn't get at it if you needed to, but they are they're basically covering the tower. They're like burying it with the stones.
It does not belong here.
So I think at this point it's getting close to when the end of your watch would be.
I will sit here and see like who comes out and what happens like, when they try to come out the door. If they like make the rocks go,
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
I'm kind of a monster like that. I'm curious.
Who was going to be second watch?
I'll take second.
Okay, so I think you sort of come awake realizing that it's time, but Zaylene hasn't come in to let you know, or to request the change.
Okay. Um, is Nedry up?
Um, snoring slightly at his book, most likely.
Okay. Um, well, I'm gonna draw my sword and pull out my shield and get ready to see if something nefarious is going on outside,
Mm-hmm.
and be ready to jump back into the tower if I need to wake everyone else up
Okay.
and step outside.
Sure, sure. You're gonna take 3 bludgeoning damage as when you emerge from the tower, you suddenly find yourself being flung through a pile of small rocks. It would feel to you basically like a whole bunch of these rocks were thrown at you. Not terribly hard, but still surprising. From your perspective, Zaylene, all of these little rocks that they had piled on the tower go and fly everywhere, and all of these little things, all of these little spirits, uh, the ones that are far enough away, like run a little bit and then sort of turn into just like the stone form where they look completely indistinguishable from a normal, stone, but kind of like tumble away with their momentum. All of the ones that are like too close to do that without being seen just drop where they are. But it's clear that they have completely, like, they were terrified and startled and are now hiding again.
Oh man,
What was that?
they're little spirits. They
What?
were
I mean
just
the
having fun.
rocks.
Yeah, they were putting rocks on the tower. They were like making a little
That hurt.
cairn. Oh, oh. Well, I didn't think of that. That it would hurt if you walked through the rocks. Here, and I'll reach over and do like healing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do healing word at level 1, and you get back 3 hit points.
That's
Oh
exactly
no,
how
you
much
get back 7. I
All right.
rolled a 3, but you get +4, so 7.
All right.
Yeah, they
Well,
were super cute. They're like little rock people. They're like, I don't know. They were playing. I was watching and I lost track of time.
cool. Well, I was a little worried. I put my sword away.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just watching. They're,
All
yeah.
right.
Well,
Um,
don't throw them. They're people too. And I just like walk into the tower.
I'm left standing there with a confused look on my face.
Mm-hmm.
I explore the space a little,
Okay.
make sure that everything is cool, figure out any particular avenues where something might come at us, and make sure I can
Mm-hmm.
watch those, and then I just sit on my knees with uh, my shield in front of me and keep watch.
Okay.
See if these things actually get comfortable with me. I'm going to um, do something I used to do in the orphanage, which is sit there so still that no one can see me. I'm going to try and fade into the background and
Okay.
just be a hole in the air in the shape of Zenhorn.
All right. Make a stealth check.
Stealth. Ooh, 15.
Okay. I think that, as you are there, trying to be very still, make a perception check with a disadvantage.
All right, well, I normally have advantage, so
Well, you are. I guess it will be normal then, but yeah, it seems like you're focusing more on not moving than
oh,
looking
crap.
around.
How do I...
It's fine. It's a 24.
Okay,
That's still good.
all right.
So you here and there will hear little stone sort of scuttling sounds that sound like something has maybe gently kicked a little stone across the ground. It doesn't ever seem to happen in your line of sight. You have good reason to believe from Zaleen that probably it's maybe one of these things, but they definitely do not like emerge to do anything.
Okay. Um, I am going to try and guess which snack I have on me they might be interested in.
Okay. Make a religion check.
Natural 20.
Wow. Okay. Um. Gosh, what would they? I think. Well, how about this? With a natural 20, you tell me what they would be interested in.
Um, I think they would like something along the line of bread or crackers. Um,
They are spirits, not animals.
okay. Um, so they would probably like something fresher that is,
I mean,
you know,
I'm going to let you tell me, but
oh,
I'm just giving you that framework.
okay. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, something that's got some life in it, like a piece of fruit or something. So I'll pull out a couple of uh, raisins and grapes and toss them over uh, to where a bunch of the little rocks are
Okay.
that look like they would have vectored the direction I came out of the tower.
Mm-hmm. So I think as you have tossed the raisins, and as you're there, remaining still, remaining quiet, I think at a certain point you hear a little scraping sound, and you see that one of the rocks has just scooted like 2 inches closer to one of the raisins.
Okay.
And
I
then after another minute or so, it scoots another couple of inches.
I don't react. I just, I'm trying to make friends. That's all.
And then as you watch, it scoots right up to where the raisin is. And then you see a little hand reach out and grab the raisin, and then the stone stands up on two little legs and runs away with the raisin in its hand.
Okay.
And then as it gets a little bit of momentum with the run, it sort of just pulls the arms and legs in, except for the hand holding the raisin, and it sort of like tumbles across the floor.
Cool. Enjoy the raisin, little one.
So I think gradually, did you toss just the one raisin or?
No, I tossed a
Yeah,
few of
okay.
them.
So I think that sort of pattern repeats itself a couple of times where, gradually as each successive stone manages to be brave enough to go up and grab a raisin and then nothing bad happens, pretty soon they, you see there's a number of stones that are all kind of scooting uh, at once. And so it gets to the point where there's only one raisin left there on the ground, but you see there's 4 or 5 of these little stone spirits kind of like closing in on it.
I will figure out the number of raisins I need for the number of stone spirits and toss a few more in that direction.
So at the first movement, they do sort of suddenly freeze again, reacting to the surprise. But when the raisins tumble over, they do grab them, and you see at least one of them open little eyes to look at you. And then instead of turning back into its little stone form, it pops out its little arms and legs, and then it just kind of like toddles over and then just sits next to you holding the raisin.
I pull out a raisin for myself and I start nibbling on it.
It holds up the raisin and kind of just goes bonk, bonk, bonk against its little stone face. I mean, it seems happy enough.
Okay.
But it seems happy enough just holding it.
Okay.
It's copying you.
I wonder if I can get it to like take a raisin out of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put one in my hand and I will lay my hand flat on the ground with the raisin in it.
All right. I feel like this is almost animal handling, but not quite, because
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
That would be his frame of reference.
Yeah, for sure. And so I can see that. I think it is not going to be an animal handling check because, again, they're spirits, it's different. But I'll let you with your previous natural 20, I think let's just figure with that in context, let's have a persuasion check.
Okay.
Look at that.
26.
Oh, wow, you just have.
Yeah, all the good rolls are coming now.
Well, I was also just like your stats are. I haven't looked at your stats in a while.
I was just gonna say, like, these are the super important roles. Like,
Well,
who needs combat?
Yeah.
Well, you say that now.
I was rolling horrible last time.
Yeah. So I think that you put your hand down, and it looks at you, and it looks at your hand for a minute, and then it kind of like stands up, and then it puts its little hand on the ground and looks up at you.
I am going to very slowly put the raisin between two of my claws and put the raisin in its little hand.
Okay. Now it has a raisin in each hand because it has the one that it had before, and it looks at both of them, and then it holds them aloft, and it like stands around like looking to all of the others, demonstrating that now it has two raisins. And all of a sudden, all of these other little stone spirits are emerging from everywhere and like circling you, and some of them that have their one raisin are waving it around, but all of the others are, waving their arms in the air, and they're jealous. They want raisins too.
I will expend all the raisins that I have to offer to make the little stone spirits happy and make some friends.
Yep, you have done so. And I think after a little while, they are, they're interested in you, and they like the raisins, even though, like, as far as you can tell, they're not eating them in any meaningful way. But they like having them, they like holding them. And they've kind of like hang out for a while, but then after a while, it seems like, they got other little stone spirit stuff to do, so they kind of start drifting away a little bit. Like they're not like fleeing or anything, but just kind of they hung out for a while. Now they got stuff to do, so
Yeah.
kind of drifting
I
around.
made friends. It helps pass the time when you're on duty.
Yep.
And hopefully, if something is coming, they might let me know or let us know. But we go places, we make friends.
All right. So, Zaylene, one thing I think you will notice, being awake when you go in, especially with Melody having, sleeping in that bedroom with y'all, is that she does not look like she's sleeping soundly. She's kind of tossing and turning.
Is Carolina asleep?
I mean, I would assume so.
Carolina's probably getting ready to take third watch, I would guess. So, yeah, probably asleep when you come in and stuff.
Okay. So I will just quietly like go and sit over like wherever she is set up and laying down. I will sit near her to just kind of be there and like start my meditation and send out like positive death vibes. Like I'm healing her 'cause she's traumatized by death. Like she just watched someone that she loves and cares about, die a horrible and unnecessary death. So I will pray for her as I meditate.
Well, let's get her a religion check.
A 9.
Yeah, so I think that, you are able to find your own solace in prayer, and you know that you are kind of providing a degree of company that she might sense subconsciously, even if she's asleep, but you don't know that you're really able to transfer any of that peace you're feeling to her. But you're, there with your presence regardless.
If she wakes up, I would hope that she would, see me there with her and feel comfort at least.
I think that, she does once or twice kind of briefly open her eyes and kind of look at you blearily before sort of, drifting back to sleep. She seems like she's maybe like it's a little bit more still than before.
Okay.
So I think I was assuming only 2 watches, but y'all can. I mean, you break it up however you.
I'm really
like.
not that fussed about it. Like I
Okay.
don't. I didn't have anything specific for it anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think because Zaleen only needs the 4 hours, right? So I was assuming that she was doing like a 4 hour shift. But I guess that still would. You know what? It's fine. So there's a third shift. Is Carolina doing it?
Yep.
Okay. So I mean, Zinhorn, I think you would at some point know when it's time. I don't know if what you would be.
Yeah, I have a sundial on my wrist.
Not going to work in here.
Oh, a little sand clock. Oh,
I mean, I think you have just kind of an intuitive sense of it.
I kind of thought I might.
Oh.
So yes, I will. When I think it's time, I will go and uh, head into the tower and wake up whoever is next in the order.
Probably pass me on the stairs, be like, hey, anything to report?
So at this point, both Nedry and Carolina would have essentially finished their long rest. So you can go ahead and mark that off if you want.
Cool.
All right. So, are you doing anything else, Nedry? If you would have finished your time, you can just do downtime, or you could go out and do the watch as well.
Yeah. I know. Might as well accompany whoever's on watch.
Mhm.
Something different, something to wake up for.
Sure. All right. So,
Probably just sit there and entertain you with more stories of the heroes of legend. And why does my camera keep going out like that?
do you tell them anything, Zinhorn?
I tell them about the little rock spirits and that I made friends with them and that they like raisins.
Did they leave?
they didn't-
Oh, they're all gone?
Well,
Well, they wandered off, but I don't know if they're
yeah, they were
close
kind of
by or
drifting
not.
away, and then they did kind of like sort of go back into hiding mode when you got up and were moving around. Like they seem pretty shy about that kind of stuff.
But
And
they
so-
showed no signs of corruption then.
Nope.
That's good. That's very good. Did they seem intelligent?
Uh, maybe slightly above animal intelligence.
Oh,
And they were able to mimic some of my gestures, and I gave them some raisins. They liked those, but they don't seem to eat, or at least they don't eat raisins. Like I nibbled on one to show them, and one of them just kind of bounced against the rock that is its face. But they have little hands and legs.
Hmm.
Um,
I wonder if they've been documented.
I'm going
I
to
don't-
spend my time making tiny little hats.
Okay. From what? Yarn?
Just like stuff that's around, it's like moss, sticks.
Okay.
I imagine at like the bottom of my pack, like I've probably got some like loose rhinestones that have fallen off of things. Or
All right. Do you have some tool aptitude that you want to apply to that?
well, I do have a disguise kit,
Okay.
so that might have some like real basic like sewing type
Sure,
of things,
yeah.
I think. But yeah, these are not like overly complex things.
Mhm.
They're just like a couple sticks and some moss around it. Like there's a hat. Like
A little false nose.
yeah. It's like I haven't seen these things, but that sounds really cute. So
So yeah, I mean, I think as the two of you come out, it seems, as I had previously described, sort of peaceful scene. You don't really see any evidence of these little critters, but you've been told they're shy.
I think Nedry will try to talk to the rocks with his mind.
Okay,
See if anything answers.
sure. Remind me, is this just like telepathy?
It's telepathy,
or...
yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what the rules for that are if the target does not have language.
Oh, I
Um,
don't.
I feel like it would be hit or miss whether or not you contact a rock that's actually one of these
Oh yeah,
spirits.
and he may not be able to tell the difference either.
Yeah,
mm,
that's and
Do
I
they
think
So
have
that's
as
to
long
part of
as
have
our
you
like an
game.
share a language.
intelligence?
Okay, so if they don't
let's
share a
see.
language, then
Yeah, let's
um,
see. You can instantly share words, images, sounds, and other sensory messages. Um, a
it,
willing creature with which you are familiar, the spell enables a creature to understand the meaning of your words and any sensory messages you send to
well,
it.
that's the spell. I think the
Okay.
feat is a little bit
Oh,
different.
you're right. And that's an 8th level spell, too. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. You're able to speak telepathically to any creature as long as you share a language.
okay. So, yeah, I mean, you can try reaching out, but, you know, yeah, I think you're not really getting any pings back, so to speak. Um,
And they were never said to make any speech of any kind, right?
no.
No one noticed that.
Mm-mm.
It's a shame. They might have valuable knowledge about the way this place works, or what they've seen. Or we could at least tell them that they should be careful and maybe run at some point, if bad things are coming.
Well, it seems like they've got some pretty solid camouflage.
Because they're rocks.
Hmm.
It's solid because they're rock. That's a pun, right? I could work it out intellectually, but the humor is a bit strange. And I think I know what you mean. Um, this has been a bad trip so far.
Are they generally good trips? Because I'm waiting for that one to happen.
You guys are in
Still,
the wrong line of work.
I don't think Melody was fully prepared for this.
Yeah, there's not really a way to
I tried
adequately
to
prepare
warn.
someone for this. Like words are one thing. Some things just have to be experienced to be believed. I guess. I don't know.
At least she has an idea of what the stakes are. Something we've been aware of for a while. That could be any one of us at some point. I'll try not to get left behind. I am rather curious about what these creatures are and how they function, but
If I use my true sight to like look at these rocks, can I tell which ones are the spirits and which ones are just rocks?
I'm. I don't think so. Let me.
So I
Let
feel
me
like
look
this
up.
isn't like illusions or something I'm seeing through.
No.
Like,
Well, because let's see. What does True Sight do? I think you possibly like something like detect magic would probably give some level of indication. Let's see. You can see through normal and magical darkness. You can see invisible, visual illusions. You discern the true form of any creature or object you see that has been transformed by magic. I think, yeah, I think you can tell.
cool. So I'm going to kind of look at these rocks and assign them little personalities and make their hats according to what I think their personalities are.
Okay. I think while the two of you have been doing some talking and other kind of general activity, it seems like they're all still kind of in hiding. But you know, you can certainly go ahead and make the hats. Let's get a check for your disguise kit. I think you have it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have proficiency with it per se, but you would let's call it sleight of hand because you're making little things.
25.
25. See, you guys are level 18. You're just good at everything. All right. No, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm delighted that you're making cute little hats. I guess I just keep being surprised and then realizing I shouldn't be. Um, But
It's a nice change of pace from having to kill things.
mhm. Yeah. So I think that, well, first, I think you're making little hats, which means you're not necessarily paying a lot of attention to on your watch. What are you doing, Nedry? Are you like really carefully on watch, or are you also kind of distracted?
Um, I mean, he's still trying to pick out if these are real
Mm-hmm.
or if this was something that Zin was making as a joke, or if there's any way to tell them apart, that sort of thing. I think he'll use the mold earth cantrip to just move some of the dirt around
Oh,
and see if he can get them to move.
okay. Um, I think. Let's see. Um, it sounds also though like you're focused on that and not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
doing your watch.
It's
That's fine.
intellectual curiosity. We
Yeah.
are the worst two to be on watch, pretty much.
Um. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to think. How about make a perception check that is based on your attempt to use this in a way that you think might like or maybe pitch me what check do you think would be appropriate here? What is it that you're trying, like, are you just trying to get some of them to move so you can see them, or is there something else at play
Um,
here?
yeah, it's trying to verify that they do exist and to see if there's any way to tell them apart from the regular rocks, or if all the
Mm-hmm.
rocks are them, for that matter. So a little bit of trial and error kind of thing.
Okay. Well, make a perception check. I think this is to try to spot if anything looks like it's happening differently than it would if it was just all rocks.
All right, incoming bad roll. 11.
11. I think you realize that given that their whole thing is just disguising themselves as rocks and that they do appear to fundamentally, in a very real way, be rocks, they act like rocks. So,
I'm
yeah.
not sure that Zinhorn wasn't telling us another joke.
I think while you are doing that, like while we see Vertigo kind of off to one side, moving the earth around, and watching the rocks tumble in very rock like ways, uh, Carolina, you're focused on making all of these little hats. Please describe three of them for me.
Well, I think they would start out with like just like a very basic like cone shape, kind of like the hat that I found in the tower before,
Mm-hmm.
like originally, the Sorcerer's Apprentice one.
Sure.
So yeah, they'll start off that way, and then like as I get practice with this, they gradually will get a little fancier, like different bows and stuff, and playing around with like stretching some of the moss so it's kind of see-through, so it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like netting like a little veil and stuff. Let's see. And then definitely gonna need one that's got like this really super wide brim, like just this little like crown on the top and then like a really wide brim, a very obnoxious looking hat.
Okay.
Well, all of them are,
Mm-hmm.
but this is
Uh,
just delightful for me right now.
yes. So I think that to cutscene this a little bit, I think what we see is, you're working on the hats, and then you kind of hear just sort of a very gentle little scraping sound, like in front of you. But when you look up, there's like, wait, was that rock right there before? Not sure. Okay, and then you go back to working on the hat, and then like the camera sees little eyes opening, and it's watching the little hat very carefully. But then when you look up, they close, and then you go back to working on the hat, and it scoots a little closer, and then and then what it tries to grab one of the hats. And if you would like to react to that in some way, you can like make a dexterity saving throw, or you can kind of just let it happen.
I am just going to let it happen because
Okay.
I'm not trying to threaten it. It's a little tiny rock and I'm a giant. So that I'm just going to let it be.
All right.
Just leaving little gifts. That's it.
Sure. This I think this, you know, the vibe here is very much like a one of the braver squirrels risking getting close enough to grab the popcorn even though you're right there, you know. And so it kind of grabs one of the hats and then does that thing where it kind of like runs sort of bump 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 and then back into stone form, so it's just kind of tumbles like it's just a rock again. But it's holding, you know, but now it's just a rock again with the little hat. So, Nedry, I think you probably hear that sound behind you.
Yeah, throws up his hands.
I don't think they're real. I think he was just pulling my leg.
I'm not going to correct him. I'm just going to smile to myself.
It's not like we've all haven't seen things that we thought were real along this way. Still, I hope it's not a sign of something worse. Is that a hat?
And I think that when you go to say, yeah, I've made a bunch of them, you look down and like all of the ones that you had just like set to the side because they were done are gone. And then of course you look just like 6 feet away and there's several more of these little stones wearing the little hats.
That's just too cute.
So I think that probably, you know, by this time, you know, we have, you know, the rest of the, you know, the party kind of having finished their rest. Everybody can complete the long rest now. I think Melody is asking, you know, Zaylene maybe, like, you know, what's the protocol here? Do we just go out, or, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to eat something? Like usually we keep some fruit in the little kitchen over
Sure,
here.
yeah. And so you know, I think we don't have to necessarily go through all of breakfast or
Yeah.
anything, but yeah.
No.
So she seems moderately better now that she's had some sleep, but yeah, she's definitely got kind of a more muted demeanor compared to before.
I will follow her,
Mm-hmm.
like into the kitchen while it's still just the two of us in here
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know where Zenhorn is, but
Yeah.
and I will just kind of, watch her for a second and then
You want to make an
ask,
insight check?
yeah,
Okay.
dirty 20.
Okay.
No, 21.
Yeah. So I think that you can tell that she's not really like over it, but she's basically kind of compartmentalizing into like, but we've got work to do. This is an important mission. I can't let myself fall apart. They're depending on me. Is the kind of the
Okay.
energy. Like, you know, but you can tell like she's still bothered, but she's, you know, trying to really hold it together to not look like she's a mess.
I will, I will ask her, um, is this the first time that you have ever experienced something like this, that you've lost someone that you care about?
Make a persuasion check. Partly just because I'll reiterate with your insight that she's trying to hold it together. So
Yeah, probably not.
I'm not saying you shouldn't reach out, but that um,
Seven.
I think she says, "No, I'm fine. What are they doing outside?" And she goes and she's like,
And
she
you're
is.
not fine. I'll be here.
I'm fine. I'm fine though. Thanks.
Okay.
So I think everyone is gonna kind of, start, gathering and awakening, and I think as Melody comes out and sees some of these little stones with hats, she's like, "Oh, mosslings."
Oh, is that what they are?
Well, I mean, that's
So they really
what we
exist
call
then.
them. Well, they're little cave spirits. Um,
Well, now they
they
have hats.
those are pretty cute. uh, it's a good sign, actually. I mean, that they seem, if they were moving around. I assume you didn't just put the hats on them.
No, I
Yeah.
set them over here and they got moved.
Okay. Like sometimes. Oh, here. Let's try something here. If Well, let's see if we can get everybody to kind of like come sit in a circle here. If everyone's interested, maybe we can get them to um, you know guide us a little bit. They know the area, so is it? I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I, y'all seem like. I mean, we don't have to. We don't have to. If you want to just get moving, we can do that. Like it's
No, let's do it. Let's
okay.
do it.
Okay. Um, so everyone just kind of, sit in a circle here and sort of just give your energy to the space. They don't participate in rituals like spirits from more civilized areas, but they do react to energy and intent. And so if you can just convey as much as you can, not in words, just like feel it, gratitude for the safe place to rest, and a request for permission to travel through their place. Um, just try to sort of feel that in your heart, and then just sort of, I know this is like loosey goosey language, but just sort of try to transmit it to the space however you can, and maybe they'll help us out a little. I mean, I can't make any promises. Obviously, they're spirits; they're going to do what they want.
What did you call them?
Mosslings.
Mosslings. Okay.
I mean, it's not like it's their word. It's just that's what
Well,
we call them.
a name is a name.
Yeah,
It's good to have one that we all understand.
sure.
But
I
yeah,
just call them rock baby spirit gods. Like,
So what we're going to have here is a tiny little skill challenge, which is basically I want each of you to tell me how you are attempting to convey this sort of emotional message to the space, and you'll do a roll with whatever skill seems appropriate. But again, because it's a skill challenge, it means we can't get, two people can't use the same skill. So, we're going to see if we can get more successes than failures here with targeting a DC 18 here. So, who is contributing to this little spirit ritual?
I will. And I will, as we're kind of like sitting around, kind of trying to give off this energy, I will just sort of like quietly hum a little tune that meant specifically for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's no words or anything. It's just, vibes.
Yeah.
Trying to, like, oh, I left these hats for you. I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you for letting us rest here. And just
Mm-hmm.
trying to convey that general
Sure.
mood.
So that sounds like probably a performance check.
Pretty good at those.
Yeah. Plus
Why
16,
is
I
it-
would hope so. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
a
where did-
25.
Weird. It like got stuck on my screen like in the
Okay.
corner, and so I didn't know what it.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's a 25. So that's one success. Who next?
Uh,
I
uh,
will do a survival check.
Yeah. Well, what does that look like? What are you doing?
I'm like, because they gave us like the space gave us what we needed to stay safe and hidden,
Mm-hmm.
and like the creatures even tried to, like the little spirits, they even tried to like hide the tower a little bit. So I kind of want to send out like gratitude for that sense of safety in the and survival, like in
Mm-hmm.
this wilderness area.
Okay. Let's see the survival check.
30.
30. All right. Well, we've already got two successes. I think it seems it's looking good so far. How about Zinhorn?
I am going to uh, treat them like cats and not look directly at them, but be still and inviting and just try to express that I am warm and friendly and uh, hope that that passes for an animal handling check.
Okay, sure. With your ridiculous animal handling modifier.
Yes.
Yeah. 31. So I think this is going to be success, but let's still see how Vertigo contributes.
Yeah, vibes aren't really uh, emotional vibes aren't really his thing. But he has been studying spirits, and they're
Mm-hmm.
supposedly spirits, and spirits are objects or creatures of ideas and of um, sort of the solid forms of notions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess there's a couple of different ways to go with that, but um, the spirits are also kind of connected to religions. Not that they have a religion, but rituals and things like that were always developed around trying to communicate with spirits,
Mm-hmm.
which also reinforce their being. So I guess that and kind of broadcasting with telepathy as much as he can to try to mimic that notion of spirit connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess more in an intellectual way. So maybe religion?
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
I don't know.
Well, so certainly religion absolutely applies to interactions with spirits, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Um,
24. Yeah, so I think all of you are in your own way offering this positive energy and this gratitude to the spirits all around you. And I think as this is sending out, you start to hear all of these, the little scraping and scuttling sounds of these little mossling stone spirits, uh, sort of trundling up around you. And then they all kind of like, as you're sitting in a circle, like maybe at like 10 foot across circle, they kind of come around between you, and they're all kind of like a whole bunch of them. First it's just a couple, and then it's like a dozen, and then there's more that are passing through your circle into the center, and they're starting to kind of all sort of pile up on each other, and there's more and more and more of them, and you realize they're sort of like starting to make a shape. And after you get, you know, uh, more than 50 or so of them, you start to see they are shaping themselves into an enormous, like 9 foot tall golem humanoid shape. It's very sort of heavy and ponderous in its demeanor, but all of these little mosslings have piled together to make this this rubble golem that stands there and looks at all of you, and then gives like it's a very sort of clumsy sort of like bow, but it seems to be a notion of respect. And then it just steps right over Nedry because it's trying to get out of the circle, and it just starts striding off in the general direction that you had been heading. And after it gets about 15 feet in that direction, it stops and it looks back at you.
I think it's offering to help. This is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Okay.
This is exciting. Let's go.
It
Let's
might
go.
need a new name, though. I propose Massling when it's all together.
Mm,
I'm gonna
I
need
like
a bigger
Biggin.
hat.
Now, where did the hats go?
There's a few of them, like one on its shoulder, and then one that's kind of like up on its little forehead, and there's one on its knee and stuff like that. And it doesn't real like it has, you know, a place where a face would be, but it's still just more rocks. There's really you don't really see any kind of an actual like face. But every so often, here and then, you'll see just the little cartoon eyes of an individual stone sort of blink open and then close again. But as this thing is sort of just like, as you follow, it's just leading the way. And, you know.
all right. Well, internally, I'm referring to it as Biggin.
I know it's already say Massling.
Well, if it has any opinion at all on which of the nicknames that it prefers, it does not say. Instead, it just continues to kind of slowly leading away through these tunnels. And I think that, you know, you travel that way for a time. Not that Melody wasn't an able guide, but it just seems to be leading you in a specific direction, and it's Melody confirms that this is more or less the way she was planning to take you, but that she knows that here and there's going to always be sort of various environmental, you know, obstacles or whatever, and it feels as though it just knows the easiest path through a lot of this this terrain. You know, so you pass through some, you know, like a sort of a forest of, you know, enormous fungus mushrooms, and through more lichen. There's a waterfall at one point, and you're walking alongside this underground river. And you're just traveling, and it's just leading the way. But eventually, you do reach a point where there is an enormous crevasse, and it stretches like into the darkness as far as you can see in both directions. And it's something like, you know, 100 feet across, with one enormous root acting as a bridge across. And it looks as though it is a very straightforward, this is a bridge across this crevasse, and it is this route is, you know, it's a good like 15 feet in diameter. It would be easy to cross. But as it approaches the end of this bridge, it sort of approaches where it would climb onto it. Then it steps to the side and looks back at you, and it just is standing there looking at you, not stepping onto the bridge.
Melody? Is there something about this bridge that we should be concerned about?
I wouldn't have thought so. This is a bridge known to me. I was planning to get us here, although it seems we found a bit more of a direct, gentle route. But root, with the E this time. Yeah. Um, but
I got that one.
yeah, no, but it does seem like it is trying to sort of suggest something. I don't know why it stopped.
There may be
Maybe
more
it can't
signs of
go any
corruption.
further.
So she kind of, like she's walking up to where you would step onto this root bridge, and she's looking at the spirit and sort of kind of like trying to gauge its reaction as she goes to like take a step onto it. And as she starts to do that, it kind of like hunches down, like it's sad. And she steps back off, and it straightens back up again.
I think maybe it can't go over this root bridge.
It might be too heavy for it, I suppose.
It seems as like this root is big enough. You don't think that should be a problem, assuming that it is as strong as it seems like it would be.
Maybe it's
Maybe
outside
it's
of its
just
territory.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe it just can't go any further.
Sad to say goodbye.
Oh,
It was a very good idea, Melody, to have us form this friend.
Well, I see it as kind of a positive sign, that this is a party that's able to generate the sort of energy and emotion that would attract spirits in this way. I feel like there must be something more to this, though. Like you're right, it might just be that it doesn't want to go to the other side, but she's looking at it, and it's just looking back, and she goes to take like a step onto the bridge again, and it sort of hunches down again. She steps back off of it, and it straightens up again.
Can we see the other side, or is it?
It extends into darkness, and so like I guess those of you who have 120-foot dark vision can see the other side. Otherwise, it extends off into the dark.
Nedry will take a step towards it and see if the maskling responds in the same way.
It does.
Okay.
Does it look normal, this root? I can't really tell one plant from another. Does it look like it's diseased or
I mean,
corrupted?
it doesn't. I don't. It doesn't look any different from here. My dark vision isn't good enough to see all the way to the other side.
No.
Can I see all the way to the other side?
You can, and I think it looks like from the perspective of what you can see at that distance, right? Like you can see, like the shape. You can see that the shape of the root continues off. You can see the far side of the crevasse, and so on. And the bridge seems to continue over there. So like, you can't see the other side the way you can see the side you're on, for example, right? But
Right.
yeah, you can see that like it doesn't like cut off halfway through or something.
But the bridge is fine. Like I can see it. It's not crumbling or anything.
Maybe it's something underneath or beside the bridge, and
Nedry will take a perilous look over the edge of the crevasse.
Don't we have one of those coins, Zinhorn? Didn't we buy
yeah,
like,
I still
a
have
few of those?
I still have a coin of delving.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have one left.
Flick it in there.
I'm gonna break out the hither thither wand and make
Okay.
a portal here, and then on the other side of the bridge, and kind of stick my head through and look around.
You can't see
You
the
can't?
other side.
Yeah, that's the
You
problem.
have to put it somewhere you can see it.
Well, you said if we have a dark vision 120 feet, we can see the other
do
side.
you have
I do.
dark
Oh,
120 foot? Why do you have?
That's what my sheet says. I don't know.
Okay. Hang on. I mean, I guess.
I'm not fully sure where that is coming from.
Yeah,
but
see, that's kind of what I'm trying to.
like it's got the true site is from the Solomonia boon.
Yeah. Um. Oh, for Pete's sake. I'm trying to look at where the because there's a couple of the races that have a 120-foot dark vision, but I don't think yours is one of them.
Let's see, is it? I'm checking some
Is
of
it
my
any of your
other-
magical items?
I mean, I'm not.
That's what
gonna,
I was looking
yeah.
for, in case it was the Vidunme deck.
Right, like, I'm not gonna-
Eldritch Adept. You took Devil's Sight, which gives you the distance of 120 feet.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Then
There we
yeah.
go.
So yeah, then in that case, you can do that.
Okay, then I'm gonna do that. Do
Alright.
I see anything?
I mean,
Like-
you can make the portal appear on the other side, and you're looking through it, I guess, right? I mean,
Yeah, just kind of like
like
before
which way is
I-
it facing? I mean, it seems like it would be facing back towards you, right?
Probably. Yeah, I just want to like check out this path and make sure there's like no obstacles or something in the way.
I think what you can see through there is that the other side does seem to be less like there's like less of the sort of fungus and mossy sort of plant life over there. You can see some, but it seems like maybe a little bit wilted.
Let's see, Nedry has like a detect nightmare or something, right?
Yes. Nightmare energy.
So I'm gonna explain what I've seen. It's like, so on the other side, it looks like maybe we're gonna start running into more of this corruption. I don't know if you want to look.
I can. It's generally for creatures, I guess, but it would be things corrupted by nightmare energy, which is more or less what we're thinking, although
Though, as previously established, the siphoners don't trigger from that.
right. Did we establish whether the corruption in the tree triggers that?
I don't think that it does. I know that we've got some blurry lines here.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of maybe sense something, but it's not quite the same.
It generally is more looking for those infections in creatures that we found before, the actual inhabiting nightmare spirits. Unless it's a conscious creature, I'm not sure if I would be able to tell.
So I think
Well, we
yeah,
can-
as you're all kind of looking through, you can see that like here and there seems to be some kind of like there's some kind of a like a draft, like there's definitely air moving through this crevasse, and so you can see it like stirring up dust on the other side. Like it does just seem like everything's sort of like dried out over there.
Can we see the other end of the root connected on that side? And does it look like it's not sturdy or?
Well, so you can't, if you're staying on the one side, you can't just see everything, right? You're looking through the portal, right? So which
Okay.
way is the portal facing? You guys tell me, and I'll tell you what you see. Because you don't, if you can see further down the path, you can't see the route, or vice versa.
Well, it has to be on a surface, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking like this is some kind of like a cavern situation, right? So on either side, I
Right.
imagine that's where I would have put the portal because it has to be on a flat
Okay.
surface.
Well, so I mean, I think that what that means is that as far as like looking down the path, you can't really see very far in that direction, and you can kind of see the end of the root bridge, and I mean it's there.
I think maybe it's just sad that we're going into this mess. I don't know.
Well, it probably
We have to go that way though, so there's not. I don't know.
It probably doesn't want to enter an area of corruption, which makes sense. It would also be subject to it itself potentially and in danger. So, thank you, Masling, for helping us this far. and we'll try to keep ourselves safe. I don't know if it understands, but that's all right. That's a long ways down. I think a
We have a
precaution.
portal. Just go
Yes,
through the
but
portal.
if anything goes wrong, if the other side collapses, it's a long way down. So as a precautionary measure, perhaps some of us should fly.
I'm just gonna step through the portal.
Yeah.
Like
As,
while
with
he's
O.
talking, I'm just.
yeah. I think as you all are sort of like indicating that you're planning to go that way, regardless, it does eventually the your rubble golem friend here does um, kind of do its little bow again, and then it starts walking like back the way you came, but like then it seems like it's just starting to crumble, and I think like your first instinct is seems like, oh no, like it's like it's falling apart, but you see that it's just turning back into all the little stones, and then all of the little stones are just like running on their own little legs, but they seem
I'd
like
be like,
they're
bye,
they're going back.
Roger.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you. Thank you for showing us the way.
So Carolina, you go through the portal.
I'm gonna
Yes.
grab a handful of raisins out of Zinhorn's back and I'm gonna throw them after the little rocks.
Yeah, I don't go far beyond the portal because I'm like waiting for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I will
So
follow Carolina.
so I think yeah, like once you're over there, obviously you can look around a bit more, and you can definitely see that there is kind of a distinct, noticeable, like everything being a little bit wilted and dried out on this side. Here and there, like I said, you can see the drafts are kicking up these strange little clouds of dust here and there that seem like maybe it's not dust so much as like powdered, dried up lichen, for example, or something of that nature. You can see the end of the bridge, which at first glance looks like you would expect.
Well, no screaming so far, so I'm assuming everything is going well.
I'll just holler back at him. Looks fine from here.
I'm gonna walk across the bridge, getting ready to fly if the bridge should, drop out from under me.
Okay. For
Why don't you just go through the portal?
I mean, yeah, so, you can walk across the bridge because you want to see what happens. That's fine.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, I think that as you are walking across the bridge, I mean, obviously, as I mentioned, it's like 100 feet. It's not like it's not a tremendous difference. It doesn't take distance. It doesn't take half an hour or anything. But you do make your way, and you're getting to a point where you're somewhere in the neighborhood of halfway across, and then you do sort of notice that the texture of the bark of this root beneath your feet does start to like crunch a little more, like the bark is a little bit more brittle. Gradually that seems to increase to the point where you're sort of feeling your feet kind of like crunch through it a little bit, like you're leaving footprints now in it. And I think that you are realizing, like, yeah, it's getting drier and drier as I go here. And then,
Yeah, I've figured out what the problem is, I think, so I'm just gonna take to the air for the last,
okay,
30 or 40 feet.
sure.
And
Yeah.
then,
You do, yeah, I think as you sort of have started to sense the problem and you're like looking carefully for it now, you do get the feeling that it may well have not been able to hold your weight by the time you got close to this end. Like, it's one thing for it to just sort of stay in place, but,
yeah,
and if it were to be disturbed, it might crumble.
there were stories told around the orphanage about, people being careless and dropping things down chasms and making lots of noise and being called a fool and or raising clouds of enemies to come at you because they heard all the noise. So I will not be dropping this route down, but I will motion people to come through the portal. Use the portal.
I mean, everyone is
Portal.
through the portal except you.
Oh,
Well, no, Nedry hasn't left yet, and I don't know if
Okay.
Melody's gone.
no.
I mean, I assumed everyone was going through the portal and it was just Zinhorn left. I don't know why anyone else would not be there already.
Well, Nedry wanted to see what happened when Zinhor did walk across
Okay.
it, actually.
You guys.
So it's what,
Uh,
science? You guys are just doing science. The end of the world is coming, and you're doing science.
No, I think we have to sever it. I don't. If the corruption is crawling across this bridge, it might reach the other side. If it's severed, it won't get there as quickly. At least I hope. It would make a natural barrier potentially to restrict that. We'll restrict routes going through here, but nobody really should in this infected state.
I'm gonna cast Shatter on the end of this nearest end of this bridge. See what happens.
Okay.
When
And
Wait,
suddenly, with an enormous sort of um, cloud of sort of dust and spore-looking things, very much in the way that an old rotted log would if you hit it with a firecracker or something, put an M80 in it. Yeah, it just explodes, and sort of where it's solid on the other side, it kind of sags down, but yeah, it is just disintegrated on the side that you're on now.
Well,
And
Cool
you're,
of a
you're also
Zinhorn.
showered with like little bits of rotten wood and dust, and everything is blowing in, and like there's a shock wave that has generated wind that's blowing up the dust all around you and everything.
I'm going to
And
use
I would
gusts
like
to blow that away.
and so as that's happening, though, I'm gonna have, let's see, this is a attack against each of you. It's a 12 against Vertigo. I think probably misses. No, actually, this should be with
This is a
advantage.
save.
Yeah. So excuse me, this should be with advantage because
Well,
you're not
24,
seeing
yeah.
this coming. So a 24. And give me just a moment to go ahead and roll this for everyone else. That would be a 17 against Zinhorn, which I think probably fails. 23 against Lynn,
That succeeds.
and 26 against Zaleen. All of you are going to take 8 bludgeoning damage and 16 necrotic damage as you suddenly find yourself enveloped by one of those dust clouds, and you can just feel this aura of rot and decay and some kind of a residual magic is just like it's battering at you as though these clouds are themselves trying to consume you.
does it feel like familiar magic to me?
Yeah, I think so. It's not quite the same as when you fought the Siphoners themselves. This feels more like residual, like in the same way that it manifested a little bit different when it was the dragon. This feels environmental in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a similar flavor. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and roll initiative.
This is what happens when you guys fuck around for too long.
Yeah, you break stuff and get us all
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Fool
Get
of
us
a bard.
murdered.
Yeah, so this is just theater of the mind here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but go ahead and do roll initiative though.
15.
$14.
Okay, so
Yeah, we're all doomed.
Um. So, and then the enemy here also rolled a natural 20 on the
Yeah.
on initiative. Um, so yeah, I think it's getting another attack off. Not at advantage this time because you're all aware this is happening. But so Vertigo, that's 12 against you.
That misses.
Yeah. 27 against Zinhorn
That'll hit.
for 16 bludgeoning, 8 necrotic. And let's see. I'm just double checking something. Yeah, okay. And then that's a 26 against Lynn for 17 bludgeoning and 10 necrotic. And then a crit against Zaleen.
I love it when I die for you.
If we die because Lynn was impatient,
I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna come back from the dead and haunt you and be like, "You should have let me get high on the cocaine sludge." I'd be so
So
powerful right now.
the crit is going to do 21 bludgeoning and 18 necrotic.
So 40,
Well, so it's 39.
39. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you I think now have the sense that there seems to be this is not just a like diffuse ambient cloud of dust. There does seem to be sort of two clusters of it to speak of, where it seems like it's able to sort of pull together enough substance to do this this battering at you, where it's like concentrating this toxic energy around you and battering at you. So you do feel like there's at least two of these things that have enough substance that you could, target it, so to speak. But that is its turn. So that we had, let's see, what was your initiative, Zinhorn? Oh, I see it. 15.
15.
Yeah, so that makes it your turn.
Okay. Is is there like a center of this wind?
So I
This
just,
cloud?
yeah, so what I just said is that there are two sort of clumps, so to speak, where it seems to have enough substance to attack.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and hit it with lightning breath.
All right.
It must make a DC 16 saving throw. Dex.
Okay. It gets a failure. You know what? I'm gonna I think yeah, you're able to get one of them, not the other, because they're
Okay.
both kind of around you and they're not in the same direction. But yeah, it gets an 8 on the save.
That's weird. I clicked four. It's 4d10.
I mean,
Uh,
what it
and it
rolled is
rolled
1d10. Yes, I know.
Yes.
This has happened every time you click that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 21.
Okay, yeah. So I think as your lightning breath, lashes out, the lightning sort of trails through, and you know how lightning, when it strikes sand, creates these little glass branch-like shapes. You
Sea
kind of,
glass.
well, I mean, that's not what sea glass is.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay. I mean, sea glass is just glass that's been worn smooth by the sand. But there's another term for it.
Natural glass? I don't know.
Well, lightning striking, because it's a whole thing now. Fulgurites, that's what it is.
Okay.
But in any case, you see that kind of happening through these clouds, and so parts of this strange corrupted dust cloud are solidified and glassed and fall out and shatter. So you have done damage to one of them. So that makes it Zaleen's turn next.
Am I able to get close enough to like reach out and touch one?
Oh yeah, it had they're like enveloping you.
Okay, I would like to cast Vampiric Touch at
Okay.
level 6.
Okay.
So that is. I have to read it every single time I do it. I have to roll an attack.
So I'm gonna let you actually make an Arcana check first.
Okay.
Uh,
20.
these things are like they're trying to draw your energy. They're trying to do necrotic damage to you. You think these things are not going to be terribly vulnerable to necrotic damage.
Okay.
It was one thing when you were attacking an actual siphoner and you were kind of sort of doing it back, but I think you would also have recognized that that kind of worked because you were taking sort of some steps in the direction of what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that it like normally might not work. And so it's one thing if you want to be leaning further in that direction. It's another if you're trying to just do normal necrotic damage, at which point you don't think it would probably be terribly effective. So I don't want you to
Knowing
use your
that,
6th level spell slot.
I am going to cast Witch Bolt at level
Oh,
6.
all right. There you go. That's a dex save that it makes for that. Is that right?
It's a roll.
Oh, okay. Roll to hit. Yeah,
I
20.
just rolled like 23 times in a row.
Well, is
A
one.
dirty 20.
That's funny
3
because
times
one
in a
of them
row.
was a plus 13, and one of them was a plus 8, and one of them was a plus 12, but it
I
added up to
know.
20 all 3 times. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that definitely hits, and
Okay.
your witch bolt has sort of is arcing around and spinning around and enveloping sort of the densest part of one of these clouds here. 48.
48 lightning
So, is
damage.
this the same one that Zinhorn zapped, or is it the other one?
Was Zinhorn near us when that
Well,
happened?
yeah, you're all together.
Okay, I will say yes.
So, yes, the same one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, you've got it. And you are watching this lightning, crystallize and melt together elements of its dust, which it can't maintain its animated nature in that form, and you have you've thinned it out quite a bit. It seems like it's taken quite a lot of damage, and it's still kind of active, but it's been hurt pretty significantly. All right, and you're maintaining your witch bolt hold on it.
Yes. Yes.
Vertigo, you're next.
Okay, so sort of enveloped in it. That's bad.
Hmm. You get the feeling these things are not ranged.
Yeah, but I am ranged.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know.
I
I'm
need
just
range.
saying, like they look like they can actually only attack by enveloping.
Right. I think that Vertery, Nedrigo, whatever we want to call him,
I mean,
strides, pushes forward to just be on the edge of the cloud, and then as a bonus action casts a Chardalon's Stride,
okay.
and flames erupt from beneath his feet, lifting him slightly off of the ground,
Fun.
giving him 20 extra feet of movement.
Mm-hmm.
So he will, I'll just use that with the 3rd level spot. He will strafe the 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So moving through, it doesn't provoke or opportunity attacks because of the
Right.
spell. It does 1d6 fire damage to each of them.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to use the same roll for both, or
Yeah. Well, unless you want to roll it, I'll do it however you prefer.
rolling's fun.
All right.
So 3 to one, 5 to the other. and he'll move to the far spot as far as he can get. If he can get the whole 45, that's great.
Mhm. Well,
And turn
so
around.
each of these is about 10 feet, but they're large per
Okay,
the grid, and so like to move completely through one and through the other would be 20 feet.
sure. So 25 feet away from that, then.
Okay.
Spin around. Did the fire seem to do
Yes.
damage? It did. Okay.
Hmm. Not a lot, but it's still
No,
yeah, yeah.
it was a test.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now we go to another test, and you'll turn around, and on the one that seemed to be the target of Zinhorn's attack, he'll cast Ray of Frost.
Okay.
And that is an attack roll. That's 29 to hit.
All right.
So that's a
20
crit.
it certainly does. Oh well, yeah. Well, definitely hits, and the crit then
So
looks like
38, 41 points of damage, it looks like.
wow. Okay. Well, with all of that damage on the one that had already been hurt, you just sort of like freeze it, and it turns into muddy sleet and just like pelts onto the ground, and that one has been destroyed.
Fire and ice, both effective.
That's
And lightning.
and that's his turn.
Mm-hmm. All right, Lynn, you're up.
So kind of a bit of a technical question. Freezing spears is arranged, but there's no like I don't see penalty for like close range. Like it's just range area
I
120
mean,
feet.
any ranged attack is going to have that in disadvantage if you're in melee.
Yeah, so
Now,
these
you
things are
could
like all within
move-
5 feet of us, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like all around you. You could move away from it, but it would get like an opportunity attack essentially.
Yeah. So I think instead I'm going to upcast Cure Wounds to 3rd level and give that to Zaleen.
All right, great.
Spinny, spinny. So 19 hit points back to you. That's my bad. And then I feel like bard things aren't going to work well on this thing, so instead I'm going to give a bardic inspiration to Nedry because that last hit was awesome.
All right.
What's the die at this time?
I believe it's a D. Nope, that's Song of Rest. Magical Inspiration. Yeah, D12.
Cool.
I'm gonna roll a d4 to see which of you the remaining one attacks. And I got a 2, which is Zinhorn. So this remaining one is coming, is swarming up and enveloping you, and it's going to try to use its Wind of Decay on you again twice. The first one is a 19 to hit,
Miss.
then a 23 to hit.
That'll hit.
That's going to be another 12 bludgeoning and 11 necrotic.
All right.
And then that is its turn, so it's your turn.
Okay. And I'm in the middle of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to hit it with Guiding Bolt at 5th level.
All right. Let's see the roll.
Here it is. 19.
That will hit.
32 points.
Okay. Yeah, I think that with the radiant damage, It let's see. With the radiant damage, it doesn't sort of melt or freeze the sand in place, but somehow with this the holy radiance of your divine guiding bolt, the dust that is it's UV purified and so becomes just regular dust, and so a lot of the dust just kind of falls out of it, and it's still active, but you've certainly heard it.
All right.
Okay, I believe that's Zaleen again. Your witch bolt, the one that the witch bolt was on, was was destroyed.
Murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'd have to cast again. I am going to cast Witch Bolt again at level 5 on the other one.
Okay.
That is a 27.
Sure, definitely hits.
Watching all these fake dice roll.
Okay.
33.
Okay, yeah. So once again, the lightning is very effective. It is glassing quite a bit of the dust, whatever it comes into contact with, and little bits of crystallized glass are dropping to the ground. It is still moving, but once again, it's been pretty substantially hurt. But it also doesn't seem to mind.
It doesn't have any feelings.
Doesn't seem to. It's a cloud. It's not like a face with a little tear on it going down its little cloud cheek. So I noticed, Mark, when you introduced yourself, you said verdigris, which is kind of fun.
It's all malleable.
Yeah. But it's your turn. Whatever your name is.
Okay. Once again, kind of diving in with the flaming feet, moving the 25 feet in to get it within the range of fire. So it'll take a little fire damage.
Okay.
2 points of fire damage.
Takes it.
And then move the 20 feet back again. Not as far away. And let's do the Ray of Frost again.
All right.
So that was effective.
Mark, don't forget you can add that D12 to the
Just about everything.
Yeah.
Attack damage.
yeah,
does a
damage.
16
That's the word I was looking for.
Does a 16
A
hit?
16 does hit.
Okay. I will add the D12 on,
Okay.
which I think triggers your infectious one as well if you want to use it. So it's an additional 4 points of damage for a total of 26, 29.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I
And
can
its
use
speed
my
is reduced by
reaction.
10 if it needs it. So.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the reaction. I'll pass that to Zinhorn.
Okay. It is not outright destroyed, but it is reduced to wisps of its former self. Carolina, your turn.
Okay. I don't really think I have any melee spells. Let's
I think you
see.
still have a sword or a
Yeah.
rapier or something?
It doesn't seem terribly hard to hit. Nedry just hit
Yeah,
it
I
with
don't
a
even have my
16.
rapier anymore. That was the thing. I have a dagger. I mean, I guess that could technically work. Yeah. It's like I can move and use freezing spears on it, I suppose.
Or you could just take that you're, the disadvantage. I mean, it doesn't, seem to be
Yeah,
terribly
we'll
hard
just
to
do
hit.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freezing spears.
All right, go ahead and roll.
So that's
roll the three
3.
attacks.
17.
That will hit?
Eesh, natural one.
Okay, that one won't.
And, a 19. So
Yeah,
29.
so that's 2 hits.
4 and 7.
So that's exactly how much you needed.
Of course,
It
it's
had
Lynn.
11 hit points.
She does this
Yeah.
every friggin' time.
So yes, it's as it's got just this lingering little wisps trying to sort of reconnect itself and regroup to resume its attack. You send out your spears to just dissipate and disrupt and freeze away all that remains. And once you do, things are quiet again. You know, there's still a little bit of a sound of wind in the crevasse, but the this strange swirling animated dust storms are no more.
Kind of look around and say, sorry.
So, as I was going to say, maybe we should cut it off in the live area so that the rest of the infection is not carried over to the other side.
Well, hopefully those were the things that were causing the infection.
Well, it's better safe than sorry.
And he'll step through the portal and just start casting firebolt on the remaining rope to try to kind of cut it off at a place which still seems to be alive.
It's pretty big. I think that would take a while. How much time are you willing to devote to that?
I mean, if it seems like it's real, well, it is 4d10. It's quite a lot of damage, but
Well, also it's
does it catch on fire?
It's 15 feet in diameter.
There is that. Well, he's doing it in principle. If no
I
one
mean,
helps,
it
it
is
will take a
the
while.
dried out part is in fact very flammable, so
Yeah.
you are more likely to just set the whole thing on fire than anything else.
Which is kind of the intent. It would burn off and at least light that part on fire, and then be
Okay.
content with that.
I'm going to heal myself.
All right.
Same.
I can do that now.
As you are all kind of starting to collect yourselves, Zinhorn, I believe, has the highest passive perception. You are actually, remind me your passive perception, because I think several of you have pretty high.
27.
21.
25.
Okay, see, for some reason I was thinking Zinhorn has the highest, but it's actually Lynn, I guess. So at least Zinhorn and Carolina both are aware of movement, of what sounds like a humanoid creature is moving towards you, and you sense this before there was any other sign.
Yeah, I'll definitely whoever's in front of me, grab
Sword
onto
out.
them and be like, stop.
Healed up.
Okay, so you direct everybody's attention in that
Yes.
direction.
Yep.
And as you watch emerging from the darkness in the direction that you were planning to go is what appears to be, a humanoid shape wearing like a heavy sort of very obscuring cloak robe. So you can't really see much other than just kind of the hood and darkness within. But it is moving towards you in a unhurried gait. It does not seem to be attempting to sneak up on you. It's just
Okay.
walking.
I'm,
But it does appear to be heading directly towards you.
I'm going to call out, halt, friend, and show us your face.
The creature does stop and calls out and say, "I do hope that we can be friends. For now I will do as you request," and lowers the hood. And I think they're still a little ways away, but even still, I think it's kind of you can just glimpse at the distance that this is a fairly decayed looking face, and yet it's strangely active, and then you realize There's worms writhing all over the face.
Okay. Do I have any idea what this the deal is?
Uh, he's
All right. Well, it's not a
worm face.
siphoner.
You don't
Worm
know that.
face.
So, let's proceed with caution, maybe?
Oh yeah.
As I understand your reaction, it may be beneficial for our conversation if I put my hood back up. It is for your sakes that I indulge in discretion.
Could you maybe tell us your name? I feel like they're like we're yelling at them from like 60 feet away or something.
No, it is what you're doing.
Yeah.
May I approach?
You may close half the distance.
They do.
I'm gonna like reach up to my my key.
They have
Amulet
not
and-
raised their hood. They have requested, but they have not made the move because they're clearly
Yeah.
following your instructions.
Okay. What is your
Um,
name, friend?
I once had a name and it no longer applies. I have not yet chosen a new one, nor has the queen chosen for me.
Oh shit. Okay. Siphoner.
My
something.
name is not material, but I am here to speak with you on the queen's behalf, if you will hear my entreaty. And they do like a very deep, formal bow.
Well, for now, stay where you are, and we will listen. Somebody keep an eye out behind us.
As you wish.
I want to like reach up to my talisman, like my
Mhm.
key, and see if I get like any kind of feeling from my mistress about this creature.
Okay. Like what sort of are you basically asking like should we fight this guy or
No,
like,
I
like
want
what?
to know like because I know
Mhm.
that like she is very much against like people who fight unnaturally
Mhm.
against death.
Yeah.
Like I just want to get a feel for that. Like is that can I feel that kind of energy from this thing?
It is definitely giving off siphoner vibes, if that's kind of what you mean. And I don't think I think, you know, you're not like getting a specific word from her or anything like that. But I think you can tell that although this is apparently a variety you have not encountered before, for all you know, he's a one of a kind or something, but he does seem to be some particular flavor of siphoner.
Okay.
You can especially you are more attuned to that. You
Mm.
can just tell. You can smell it on him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and at 30 feet, it is all the more clear that this guy does have what appears to be a partially decayed human body, but there appear to be worms just writhing all over him, head to toe, under this cloak.
Like he just picked a body from a cemetery and like
Well,
rode it.
like not even that. Like a body in a cemetery would not have this many. It's almost like he is body plus swarm of worms, like on purpose,
Gross.
because
I
like
am
he's not
going
just like
to-
trailing the worms as he goes. Like they're literally like swarming all over him.
I know that we are not in initiative or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but can I hold banishment?
I mean, if you hold it 6 seconds, you're going to lose the spell slot.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I will wait.
Okay. So he looks to all of you and says, I feel no shame, but I will raise my hood if my appearance makes you uncomfortable.
It is most unholy.
You're muted, I think, Paul, if you were saying something.
I was telling him to keep his hood down.
Very
I want to
well.
be able to see his face.
There's not a lot of nuanced micro expressions obvious beneath the worms, but
See, I kind of assumed the worms would be eyebrows and
I mean, there's a little bit of that, but it's not high res, so to speak.
Are they like squirbling around its mouth to like make the lips move and stuff?
that's right, forming a sneer.
Yeah.
So, thank you for your grace in permitting me to approach. I understand that there would be a degree of hostility present. However, I bear you tidings from Rachek, monarch of the new life. And we believe that we have something that may interest you in an alternative to combat.
We're listening.
You seek an artifact that was hidden where the monarch of the new life now resides. If you approach in peace, you will be permitted to take the artifact and go in peace. There are details to this that she would wish to speak to you about in person. I am simply a messenger to present you with an offer of negotiation.
Hmm.
We may as well.
I think we need to discuss this.
I mean, isn't that where we're going anyway?
Yeah, that's
That
where we're
is-
headed. And
that is our primary mission, and I'm okay with that. But I was thinking that withdrawing from the tree, because she's gonna kill the tree, which is gonna kill Amethyst.
Are you having this conversation in front of them?
Yeah.
It says, there are aspects of this tactical situation which the Queen could speak to more directly. But if it is possible in your mind that a settlement could be reached, I would invite you to come with me to speak with her in person.
I think we have to.
I agree.
Can we trust that then?
No.
I think we're walking into a trap.
What other choice do we have?
If
Say
there's a-
no and just fight our way through? That doesn't make any sense. We'd die before we get there. Let's just go.
Probably. I agree.
I mean, we do pretty well.
Yes. Well, then, yeah. We agree to hear out your monarch.
Do we have a guarantee that we will not be attacked?
You have Rachek, monarch of the new life's guarantee that if you do not take hostile action, none will be taken against you.
Does Rajek control the spore cloud we just tussled with?
That is ambient residue of our work having passed through this area. It was not under our direct control, but as we draw closer to her current domain, she can prevent such things.
Well, lead the way.
Yep.
Very well. Follow me. And they turn and they start walking in that direction.
All right.
All right, and I think that is where then we will leave tonight's session, and we will find out what happens when the pocket protectors go to meet Rachek, monarch of the new life. When we return for more adventure on so many levels.
So many
So
levels.
many
So many
levels.
levels.
worms.